I'm Jeffrey Pepper Rogers, here for acoustic guitar with a lesson on partial capoing. Partial capo is a great tool if you're drawn to the sounds and possibilities of alternate tunings, but don't want to completely lose your bearings on the fingerboard. The idea of a partial capo is it leaves some of the strings uncapoed. So like an alternate tuning, it changes the intervals between open strings, which allows you to find chord shapes and melody ideas and things that you couldn't play in standard tuning or with a standard capo. But with a partial capo, you can keep your strings in standard tuning. So anytime you fret notes above the capo, everything is where you expect it to be from standard tuning. So a lot of what you know how to play still applies. You can find partial capos in a lot of different types, typically covering 3, 4, or 5 strings while leaving the others open. A great place to start is with a 5-string capo. I, on my guitar right here, have a Planet Waves NS Drop Tune capo made for 5-string capoing. You can find models like this from Shub, Kaiser, G7th, Liberty. Spider capos will allow you to capo any combination of strings, so it can handle this as well. You can even try this type of capoing with a regular capo, any regular capo, as long as it doesn't wrap all the way around the neck. So you just set the capo a little off-center so it leaves one string open, and you can try it out that way. So in this lesson, I'm just going to check out some of the sounds you can get with a 5-string capo. The most common position to use a capo like this for is what people often call drop D capo position, which is a little bit confusing because you're not actually in D, because you're capoing up 2 frets, so you're really playing in E. Your 6th string is in E. So I've got it at the 2nd fret, covering the top 5 strings, but my 6th string is open. Ringing open, uncapoed. So first, here are some chord shapes you can get in this partial capo position. Starting off with a D. That's all 6 strings. Nice big open D. Same with the D minor. All 6 strings. But then, here's a G. Just a standard G chord. An A, just a standard A on the top 5 strings. An F bar chord. And a C. So as you can see, the only chords that are affected by the partial capo are the ones where the 6th string is open on those Ds. Otherwise, it's just standard tuning chord shapes. So here's a simple little chord progression with D, G, and A using the partial capo. 1, 2, 3, 4. As with drop D tuning, you can play sweet sounding bass runs with this 5-string partial capo. So that's the focus of the next example, which is inspired by the Gillian Welch song, Tear My Stillhouse Down. You could play essentially the same pattern in drop D tuning, but the nice thing about the partial capo is that when you go to a G, your bass note is where you expect it to be, 3 frets above the capo, whereas if you were in drop D tuning, you'd have to go 5 frets above the capo to get the bass note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. One wrinkle with the 5-string capo comes when you want to play an E shape or anything else that uses the open 6th string. With the partial capo, the 6th string is essentially lowered by a whole step. It rings 2 frets below the capo. So if you want to play an E shape or something else with the 6th string bass note included, you need to fret the 6th string alongside the capo. So if you think of the capo as being 0, you're basically fretting the 0 fret on the 6th string. And it's a little bit of an awkward maneuver at first, but gets easier with practice. So here's a progression you can work on it with. This is similar to James Taylor's Carolina in My Mind. It uses a few E minor shapes with that 6th string fretted alongside the capo. To reach those notes, basically just with my index finger angled a bit, reaching alongside the capo to get it just on the other side of the fret so I can fret that 6th string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now here's an example inspired by the Grateful Dead's Althea. So the main chord progression in the song goes B minor, A, E, A. And neither Jerry Garcia nor Bob Weir used a capo. Their whole style relied on having the freedom to travel anywhere on the neck at any time and not being stuck in one position. But when I was arranging Althea for my homespun video series on Grateful Dead songs for acoustic guitar, I used the 5-string partial capo because it gave me a lot of freedom to use open strings and add lead lines. So with the partial capo, the main chords became A minor, G, D5, G. When you're playing this, if you like, you can use a little palm muting. Rest your palm on the strings near the bridge to kind of make get a little bit thumpier sound. That can help deepen the groove on this song. 1, 2, 3, 4. These examples are really just the tip of the iceberg of what you can do. Here are a few other ideas, things you can explore on your own. Take advantage of the open string bass notes by moving up the neck on the treble side. You can try this partial capo in different positions too. You can put it at the 4th fret and play a C shape with an open 6th string. You could put it up at the 7th fret and use an A shape or an A minor shape, again with that open 6th string. You can also take the partial capo and flip it around. So for instance, now I've got the 1st string open and all the other strings capoed. You can also finally try tuning the 6th string down to expand the range of the partial capo. Try putting the 6th string down to D or even down to C. have a song called Turn Away where I use this position, partial capo at the 2nd fret, leaving the 6th string open, but with my 6th string down to D. So what that meant was, if I play a C shape now, I've got that low bass note under it. It's actually sounding as a D chord. So here's a little piece of that song called Turn Away. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope this gives you some ideas about the possibilities of partial capos. Thanks for watching. Once again, I'm Jeffrey Pepper Rogers for Acoustic Guitar.